Hey guys, Jackson Caesar here. I'm in the Washington, D.C. area. So I wanted to share a confession, if you will, with everyone. Something I feel like I just need to share with everyone. I had an experience that took place a week ago, and it hit me at a point in my life that I wasn't prepared. Many of you know that I sing professionally and have experienced me live in concert or in recital. And recently I've been touring my Roland Hayes concert production called Spirituals, celebrating the music, life, and legacy of Roland Hayes. And, wow, about a week ago, I was in concert. A week ago today, I was in concert at the Anacostia Arts Center in Washington, D.C. And I've been doing this for about, since 2009, so a little over 10 years ago now. And if you've ever attended this production, you know that some of the selections of these songs are quite demanding. And I've been working really hard with trying to deliver what has been said about Roland Hayes' delivery concerning these spirituals, because as many of you know, a lot of the spirituals had a double meaning, but yet at the same time, I feel that Roland Hayes felt that he was a messenger, or a prophet, if you will, trying to get a message out there, not only to share these folk songs, but to also share the richness in the African American community and our culture, because now it's an art form. So anyway, so now that I've caught on to his message, I'm trying to share his message. And so anyways, thank you to all of those who came out and showed your support. Stay tuned because the project will be out later this year. But I wanted to talk about how I try to prepare for concerts, and I'm generally on top of my game, especially when it's a solo event, because I don't want to let myself down and I don't want to let anyone else down. I like to be well rested. I like to be alone, so I spend a lot of alone time. I try not to talk to anyone before or sometimes after, unless it's absolutely necessary. But I try to spend a lot of alone time, and because I want to be focused. But I had a situation that came up. Out of all of the preparations we can do, preparing for a concert or a presentation for anything, life happens. Obstacles, challenges, oppositions, they still happen. I used to share with my mom. I would call my mom and say, "Mom, guess what?" She'd go, "What is it?" And I go, "It's my turn." And she'd be like, "Oh, your turn for what?" Because of the fact that none of us are exempt. We are all going to have to face something in life. We're all going to have to face a challenge, a problem. And so I would say, "Mom, it's my turn. It's my turn to be in a difficult situation." And here we are in February, and the month of February can be as demanding as December, but not as much, because we're dealing with Valentine's, and we're dealing with Black History Month. So throughout the whole month of February, before and after Valentine's Day, I'm still singing and performing songs of love. And even for the whole month of February, there's Black History Month, and I'm still singing songs written and composed by African Americans, or songs related to our culture of spirituals. And so it can be pretty busy. But I wasn't prepared for this. My concert was last Sunday, and I woke up in the morning with a sore throat. I had noticed that this was happening like 3 days before, and so I was treating it as a cold. Well, that morning I woke up and I literally sounded like, no offense, but I sounded like Louis Armstrong. I woke up and I was like, "Dolly, never go away." Of course, it wasn't funny that morning. But immediately I started treating it as a cold, right? Because after all, it's wintertime. But I noticed that the symptoms were not quite coldy, because I didn't have the snuffly nose or anything like that. And I was like, well, could it be sinuses? But then I don't generally have a sinus issue. So I'm a little confused. But then I thought, wait a minute. I remember back in 2010, I was performing with an ensemble. And I had my voice had left me for like a whole week. It was going on 2 weeks. And then one of the singers said to me, he goes, you don't have a cold. He says, I bet you that's acid reflux. Now, before he had said that, I had been going to a doctor. I went to an ear, nose, and throat doctor, an ENT, and he couldn't figure out why I was losing my voice. And I told him, I said, look, in the evenings, at nights, especially around 9 o'clock, it gets worse. And I'm like, I don't understand. But when I get into the shower, when I'm around humidity, I'm perfectly fine. I can breathe well. I can speak well. There's no raspiness in my voice. And so he gave me some things or whatever. But once I started treating, I went home and after the singer told me about the acid reflux, I was like, acid reflux? That's just ridiculous. I don't have acid reflux. I've never had that. Why would I get acid reflux? So I went home and I Googled it. And guess what? I said, well, I do have these symptoms. So they are almost similar to a cold. So I started treating it as acid reflux. And would you believe I started seeing instant results? So then I went back to my doctor and I was like, dude, guess what? This is acid reflux. So he was like, well, okay, well, congratulations. You found out. I'm like, I didn't. But anyways, fast forward. Never in my life have I ever felt so powerless, so vulnerable. I mean, I woke up Sunday morning. My concert was on Sunday. And I just had no voice. You know, you get used to being perfect, you know, over time because you've never had an issue. So you get used to being so good, and unconsciously we do this. This is not our intention. We don't do this on purpose. But we start to feel as though we're like a superhero, you know. I don't need God. I don't need a person. I got this. I put in the work. I got this. And I'm sure you probably understand where I'm coming from on that. So the intentions are not to be like, I don't need no one, but it's because you put in the work, you realize that you did this. And so because of the hard work, you see the results are positive and they do work out, but you're just not prepared for the other things. So anyways, I woke up that morning, my voice was shot, it was gone, and I prayed. Sometimes we fall flat on our back where we have no other place to look but up. And that was me. I had to look up and I said, God, I need you. I said, not so much to do a miracle, but I need you to at least bring the voice back so that it's presentable to get through the concert. Because if I don't get through this concert, oh God, I'm going to have to cancel it. I'll have to give them their money back. People were suggesting things and they were giving me, you know, like Tums and ginger ale and all these things like that. I was doing Google searches and all that. And then people were asking me, well, what did you eat? And honestly, I cannot trace back to the exact meal because leading up to that major concert, I'd been performing pretty much every day. And on the go pretty much every day. I have my day job and then I'm performing. So sometimes I'm performing before my day job. Sometimes I'm performing after my day job. Sometimes I've had more than one performance a day. So it's going from here to there. So I'm just grabbing something. Do I eat a lot of fried foods? No. So that's gone. Do I eat a lot of spicy foods? Of course not. That's gone. So what could it have been? Well, okay. I drink a lot of coffee. All right. So I'm not saying that that's what it was, but I'm just saying that I can't trace back to the exact thing. So anyways, nothing was bringing satisfaction to my symptoms. So I woke up that morning and I said, God, I need you. God, I need you. And I was reminded of some biblical stories. And I said, if there's one thing I know about the characteristics of God, I had to rely on my faith, guys. So sometimes we get into a situation in life where you have to rely on the divine. I can't help you. Man can't help you. And so I knew to do that. I was like, okay, I'm going to rely on the divine. I said, I need you. And here's the thing. I'm going to face my fears. I'm afraid to get up there. I am scared to get up there. And I'm generally not afraid. I'm not, bring it, you know. I'm excited to get on the stage and perform. I love it. But that day, I said, oh my God. I don't know if I can do this. I was scared. I cried. And then I prayed and I said, God, I'm going to get out there and I'm going to do this concert. And I'm just going to trust you. I believe he's the only one who can work out a chaotic situation. No, you should have heard me in that morning. I was like this. My voice was gone. It was crazy. And I'm reminded of some biblical characters in the Bible. When I think about Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, I think about Jonah when he was in the belly of the whale. I think about, it reminds me of the song A Witness, Daniel when he was in the lion's den. Well, throughout all of these biblical stories, one thing I know, God waited until they were actually in the situation. Like, there was just no way out. You get in the fire, and then all of a sudden he showed up. Talk about last minute. You get in the belly of the whale, and then all of a sudden he shows up. He protects you. You're not swallowed or gargled or whatever. You get into the lion's den, and they fall asleep. But it was when you got into it. So I said, well, I'm sure they were afraid. So I said, okay, trying to encourage myself. I'm going to get out there and do this. Keep in mind, I was afraid. So I get up there and I start singing in the concert. And then I had to stop in the middle and I was like, guys, I can't do this. I mean, not that I couldn't do it, but I said, I had to confess to the audience and I said, guys, I'm struggling. But I'm going to give you everything I can in this concert. I'm going to give you everything I can because I want you to have the experience. And so anyways, long story short, God came through. And but then at the end of the concert, here I am complaining still. He came through. The concert is over. It was a success. Some people were saying, you know, I appreciate you sharing because we noticed a little something. But I didn't share that just to have some type of excuse. I had to just say, look, this is not working the way I was planning to. And I just felt so vulnerable. At that point, I was like, okay, guys, look, here I am, powerless. But then I had to turn around and go back and ask God for forgiveness because I'm being hard on myself. He actually came through for me. But here I am still beating myself up because I was like, I know I could have done better. But technically, I couldn't have done better. I wasn't well. I alone could not have done better. I had to remind myself, wait a minute, you had to get some help. You had to get some divine help. No, you couldn't have done it. So, God forgive me. And I'm sorry for trying to take some glory away from you after you just did what I asked you to do. I'm so used to competing against myself, trying to be better than I was, that I was just hard on myself. So, let's talk about these lessons. What lessons did I learn? So, there are going to be times in our lives where we're going to have a full week or a full day. And sometimes you can't escape it, okay? But I think the lesson that I'm learning is to, whenever you realize that you have a full day or a full week, it's kind of like being a mother. You just plan accordingly. You must plan your meals and your breaks. The other lesson I learned is that when you pray and ask God for help, and He does help you, keep going. Let it go. Okay? And I guess the other lesson was to face your fears while you trust God, because emotionally it's hard to let go, but it's important to let go, because when you do, then He steps in. And throughout the concert, I noticed that I was getting better and better and better. My voice was, it was a slow process, but that's what healing is about. So anyways, I hope this helps someone out there. I just wanted to share my experience because I struggled, guys. Because I've never in my life been so vulnerable, felt so powerless. And it can happen to anybody. And so, will I be conscious of the acid reflux? I'm going to try to do better. Okay, I'm going to try to do better. So anyways, I hope this helped somebody out there. And thanks for watching and for listening. So take care.